Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan. I am the other half of the debt disaster. We may be overusing that term a little bit. Let's slow it down. But I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys I talk with my hands a lot, so if you see me doing this, like, I just wanted to make a quick video for you guys to just introduce myself to you and kind of explain to you just where this debt came from a life perspective. As far as the beginnings of my debt personally, it's student loans. It's always student loans, isn't it? I wanted to say I started out with over $40,000 in student loans, both private, from the private sector like Chase, and also through the government with those unsubsidized and subsidized loans for school. I don't regret them at all. I love my education. I love that I got my education, and I wouldn't change it whatsoever, period, point blank. I wouldn't do anything different. The one thing I might do a little different was actually like try to get some scholarships, but you know, hindsight is 20/20, I guess. But that's where the initial like big chunk of the debt came from. I did get over $40,000 in student loans. In the 5 years that I was in college, I changed my major a lot. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But here I am today, oh God, a few years later, and I still have a large chunk of that student loan debt. And so that's one of the reasons we're trying to buckle down and pay off all of this debt, because I don't want to get to a point where I'm, 45, 50 years old and I still have student loan debt, which is insane. I'm not yet to that point, but it's coming. It's gonna come eventually. So that's the original chunk. As far as credit card debt goes, I only have 2 credit cards, and I'm fortunate in that. So I have my Discover card and I have my Best Buy card. Both of them are pretty much maxed out at this point. $2,000 on both, $2,000 credit limit on both. I've maxed them out. And that's just because life happens, and we got to a point where bills started piling up and we had to put those bills on those credit cards, and that's not where we wanted to be, and that's not where we ever want to be again. So that's the reason why the credit cards started piling up and piling up and piling up, because we were just in all these different life situations where I was laid off from my job twice. So we weren't getting an income for a couple of months, and we had to live off of those credit cards, or else we would be late on our bills, and we didn't want to hurt our credit scores. And I think maybe I would have done that a little differently. Maybe kind of just be late on a couple of bills. I don't know. Hindsight is 20/20. I don't want to think too much about the past. I want to put all of my focus towards the future and getting rid of this debt. So that's where most of the credit card bills came from, or most of the credit card debt came from. Christopher also has about $12,000 in student loans, and he was fortunate enough to be able to have scholarships and different things that would pay for most of his schooling, which is why his student loans are a little smaller than mine. I wasn't as fortunate as him. And then he also went to a school for nursing. So he went to a school that pretty much taught him exactly what he was going there for, and now he's a nurse and he's doing exactly what he went to college for. I didn't have that. I went to a 4-year institution, or college, university, and I got, in 5 years, and I got my degree in communication. And it's not like I can go out and get a career in communication. It's a very subjective thing. What can you do with your communication degree? But that's where most of our debt came from, or that's where all of our debt came from. It's credit cards, it's student loans, and then it's personal loans, or what are those called? Personal loans? I think they're called personal loans, yeah. It's personal loans, and the personal loans were taken out, like Christopher said in the last video, they were taken out to consolidate the credit card debt, and which would have been great. It would have been really great. But the thing is, the personal loans that we did to consolidate those credit card, the credit card debt, were not, the limit wasn't what it should have been, like what our credit card debt was. So we have, what, $25,000 some odd in credit card debt, but the limit on those loans was a lot less than $25,000. And if we could have gotten a personal loan for $25,000 to cover all of the credit cards and then cut up the credit cards, then, I mean, we wouldn't be in the situation where we have those personal loans and the credit cards. But again, hindsight is 20/20, and we do. So credit cards, student loans, personal loans, we're going to tackle all of those, which do add up to the big $116,000. But I know in my heart of hearts that we can do it. And I want to get rid of this, like, stigma of debt on people. Like, that's one of the reasons that we're making these videos, is to try and get rid of this stigma. Like, people aren't less of people because they have debt. Like, we're not lesser humans because we owe money. And debt is not your fault. Like, it's not our fault. A little bit. But it's not our fault that we have we had to resort to these things. You know, like, credit bureaus are the ones that set, or not credit bureaus, but, you know, the companies that give us these loans are the ones that set all of the APR and the rates and everything. And the reason that I'm paying $300 a month on my student loans, or have been paying $300 a month on my student loans for the past however many years, and they've only gone down by about $2,000. Like, what is that? We have to get rid of this, like, stigma that people are not trying to get rid of their debt, when we are trying as much and as hard as we can. So I implore you guys, please follow us on this journey. And if you got this far in this video without thinking his voice sounds weird, I applaud you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it sounds a little weird. It doesn't usually sound like this, but we're just getting over a little bit of a sickness. But that's okay. So please follow us on this journey. If you comment down in the section below, we will respond to you. Everyone has been so welcoming, and I am so thankful for that. And another thing is, okay, I'm just like real off topic right now, but another thing is, like, you'll see us wear hats a lot, and that's because one of the reasons is we give each other haircuts to save money. And we're just real lazy with it. Like, we'll be like, oh, well, let's have a haircut day. Nothing. So that's one of the reasons I wear a hat a lot, just because underneath this hat is just a mess that no real cosmetologist has touched in a couple of years. So thank you guys for watching this video. As always, comment down below, like the video, give us some tips, give us some advice, because we need it. And yeah, so how do you end videos? Goodbye.